We're looking at 1 to 3 farms. 1 out of every 3 farms going out of business right now. Heartache of having to decide if I can carry on with the 5th generation farm or the 4th generation farm, and knowing that it lands on me if I don't move forward. That is a lot for a farmer to carry on their shoulders.
Total soybean exports to the rest of the world are still down 23% this year. Now, I feel badly for the farmers who overwhelmingly supported Donnie, but just like last time he was in office and they got screwed, they're going to hold their hands out.
The American farmers went to bed with Maga and woke up needing socialism again. It not only affected them when the tariffs were increased, it also not only affected them when the workers were dismissed and sent back to their countries because they are immigrants, but now they don't have anywhere to sell soybeans. And this is now the Fafo season for real. Don't forget to comment down below your thoughts and also subscribe to the channel.
Good morning. Got a little farming news for y'all. You may or may not know China is the United States' biggest customer for our soybean crop. We need trade deals with them pretty bad because they buy the biggest majority of our soybeans. Argentina and Brazil, down in South America, they're our biggest competitor in soybeans and corn. Sometimes they raise 2 or 3 crops of corn. They always raise a big soybean crop. But Argentina is a huge competitor for the United States. Well, this week, Argentina lifted a tax, a commodities export tax. I don't know the exact name of what it was. They lifted a tax on exporting commodities, grains, stuff like that. Well, in 2 days' time, China made a really good business deal. They bought 84 million bushels of soybeans from Argentina. That's 30 cargo ships worth in 2 days' time. Good business move by China. Don't blame them at all there. Well, in the meantime, Argentina stopped that, put tax back on because they hit their quota. Well, last night there was some kind of meeting. I don't know what all went down, but I know the biggest part of it that went down. The Argentina economy is pretty horrible. The peso is way below the dollar right now. They done a deal with the United States for some kind of line swap, pretty much a loan. The United States is about to send $20 billion to Argentina. Argentina is going to send $20 billion worth of their peso, which is not worth the same amount as our dollar is. So we're getting kind of the raw end of the deal on that one. And another thing about Argentina, they're not the best in the business about paying their bills back. They're kind of like your sister's boyfriend that don't got no job and don't really like to pay for nothing and rides off of everybody else. That's kind of the way Argentina is. We just sent them $20 billion. All the while, they're sending tax-free China 84 million bushels of soybeans. That don't make much sense. That's kind of like wiping before you poop. Why would you help out your biggest competition and hurt yourself with your biggest customer? I don't understand the deal. I don't know what's going on. I ain't trying to make this political. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you voted for Trump, if you didn't vote for Trump, even if you did, there comes a time you need to start holding people accountable. I don't understand what's going on, but they need to get their head out of their rear end and start helping out the United States and their farming economy before they go to helping South America and other farming economies. I don't know. That don't make a lot of sense to me, but hey, that's just, it bees like that sometimes. You'll have that on them big jobs, but that's the big news. China ain't bought a single bushel from the United States this year. They just bought 84 million bushels from Argentina in 2 days. And the United States thought it was a good idea to go ahead and loan Argentina $20 billion just so their economy can do a little bit better. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong by being a little upset or pissed off, but I hope y'all have a great day. If you don't mind, hit that old like and follow and all that good jazz over there. Y'all get after it, baby.
Are you a farmer? If you're not a farmer, you don't have to pay attention. Since I'm in the financial world, every day I read the New York Times business section. Headline today, China bought $12.6 billion in U.S. soybeans last year. Now it's $0. Almost $13 billion versus zero. Farmers ain't going to be happy. Why did this happen? Yeah, because of Trump's tariffs. That's exactly why it happened. There is no other reason. Okay, you might say, what about other countries of the world? Are they buying American soybeans? Well, let's see. Total soybean exports to the rest of the world are still down 23% this year. Now, I feel badly for the farmers who overwhelmingly supported Donnie, but just like last time he was in office and they got screwed, they're going to hold their hands out for a handout. Are they going to call that socialism? Are they going to call that welfare? No, I don't know what they're going to call it, but they're going to ask for it. Do you think that's fair? I want the farmers to do well. Truly, we can't live without our farmers. But I wish they would realize what Trump is doing, has done, and will do. To make it easy, Trump screws everybody.
North Dakota farmers are in a bit of a crisis right now, and it seems like people outside of the state are paying attention, so I think it's time that we talk about it. North Dakota soybeans naturally go to the elevator at harvest. Some are stored, but not many. However, this year, we have no sales to China. Zero. Zilch. Goose egg. And we rely a lot on P&W exports. Because we don't really have an export program, we don't have a good basis. Our typical basis around harvest is like 75 under. Right now, we are between $1.15 and $1.50 under. And some places are just contract only, which means they won't take any soybeans that aren't contracted, and some of them won't take any new contracts either. That means that when we're harvesting soybeans, we're going to put them in a bin. Bins are typically used for corn. When we get into corn harvest, we don't got anywhere to go with it. We have to go to the elevator with it. It's going to put more pressure on the corn basis. It's going to put more pressure on the ethanol basis. And we're just going to have ground piles, bags. It's not fun. If you don't have a logistics plan, you're kind of SOL. The problem's real. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to be solved with a government payment.
This is a post for farmers, especially soybean farmers who voted for Donald Trump. I need you to understand what is happening right now. Donald Trump started a trade war for no reason. The results of that trade war are we've lost tens of thousands of manufacturing jobs since it started. Our trade deficit has gone up and the price of everything has gone up. And you've lost business. China is no longer buying soybeans from American farmers. You're losing money. You're at risk of losing your farms. China is now buying their soybeans from Argentina. Donald Trump is planning to bail out Argentina with a currency swap to the tune of $20 billion. $20 billion to Argentina, who got all your soybean business. And he's doing nothing for you. Fuck all for you. This is what you voted for. He's fucking you. He's fucking the American people. And he's bailing out Argentina. So much for America first. Huh?
American soybean farmers, let's have a chat. One farm family to another. Are you aware that Trump is planning to send $20 billion to Argentina to bail them out? All because his buddy is running for re-election. He wants to make sure he gets re-elected. He's bailing them out. Plus, Argentina just made a humongous deal with China and took your biggest soybean market. So now China, they don't need any American soybeans. They get everything they need from Argentina. Plus, Argentina is getting your tax dollars to bail them out. Trump doesn't plan to give you any bailout. He said maybe when the tariffs start paying off that he'd give you a little something, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that one because we've all figured out by now, right? That's a tax on the consumer. And that's what's killing your farm. Yeah. I didn't vote for this, and I never have, and I never would. I can't stand Donald Trump. Real curious how some of you can still support this. Can't see that he's just continuing to stab you in the back. I have a feeling a lot of you voted for this because you didn't want to see undocumented immigrants come to this country and take American jobs, but they didn't have to come in this country to take your job. Donald Trump just handed it to them on a silver platter, and your tax money too. He does not care about you. What's it going to take for you to realize that?
We just bailed out an entire country, and no one is talking about it. Argentina. We just bailed out the country of Argentina for $20 billion. And that's a huge deal, and no one's talking about it. And if you are not aware of this. Like, don't feel bad. Most people don't know that the United States government is about to bail out an entire country. Argentina has gone through a lot of economic turmoil. They have chronic fiscal deficits. They have a currency crisis. They have high inflation, and now they have problem with debt. And a lot of U.S. investors have gone long or bet long on Argentinian debt. And an open question for me is, are we bailing out Argentina because that poses a risk to U.S. investors? I don't know, but I am asking the question. Argentina's president has implemented some massive austerity measures, but you may recognize him from this photo right next to Elon Musk. That's him. So we are about to bail out Argentina for $20 billion. The craziest thing about this is that Argentina has just completely eliminated its export tax on soybeans. So while we have opted to bail out Argentina for $20 billion, they just cut a massive deal with China by reducing the cost of their soybeans with no export tax. Almost immediately after Scott Bessent announced the bailout, Argentina sold 20 shiploads of soybeans to China. And of course, you know this is important because American farmers have had almost no luck selling any soybeans to China because of the tariffs. So we bailed the country out. They went and made a deal with China to sell soybeans, and it's probably going to cost American farmers $2 billion. $2 billion. And while everything I just said is crazy, I think what's more interesting and perhaps more alarming is that the pace of sort of acceleration in the United States is such that most Americans probably don't know that we just pledged $20 billion to bail out a country. And that is problematic. And that is alarming. And I hope you learned a little bit more.